Visit CCGCastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more. Hello once again and welcome everyone to the Pokemon TCG Center. Today we'll be looking at another deck for the standard format, and this time we have Vespiquen with the Zoroark. So one of my subscribers asked me, can I play with the Vespiquen Raichu deck? And I actually decided to build this deck for him. It's not Vespiquen Raichu, but it's actually Vespiquen with the Zoroark and Flareon and Jolteon. So why that? In my opinion, I think that Vespiquen Raichu is just not that good, because Raichu can hit for the weakness Evoltals. That's okay, but it's just 5 Pokemons in play without Skyfield. You don't have that good chance as you can have with the Vespiquen and the Jolteon. So the main focus about this deck is to hit any popular deck in the format for the weakness. So basically, with the Vespiquen, you can hit Seismitoad for the weakness. With the Zoroark, you can hit Trevenant for the weakness. With the Jolteon in play, all of your stage 1 Pokemons are now also lighting Pokemon, so you can hit Evoltal for weakness. And with the Flareon, you can actually hit those Mega Sceptiles for weakness, because a lot of people actually plays Mega Sceptiles. In my country, nobody. Actually, one of my friends played, but actually, even if you can hit Grass for the weakness, is definitely good. In some mirror matches against Flareon, Vespiquen, against the Vespiquen and Vileplume, can definitely Flareon help you to increase the damage in one-hit knockout without any problem. 130 HP Pokemon like a Vileplume. But yeah, also the last card that you can actually include in this deck is the Vaporeon. Vaporeon also from the Ancient Origins, but I actually didn't decide it to play because there's not a lot of people that actually play fire decks at this moment, but in future definitely I can see that the Delphox Break is going to be a very good deck. So yeah, this is basically my deck list. As you can see, 23 Pokemons, 30 trainer cards, and 7 energies in total. So let's start with the Pokemon list. I'm running 2 Energy Evolutions EVs, which says that when you attach Fire Energy from your hand onto the EV, you can search your deck and evolve into the Flareon. That's not going to happen with the Jolteon because I'm not running Lighting Energy cards. A single Jolteon and 2 Flareons for support. Also, I'm running double Shaming for the setup, so I can draw cards until I have 6 in my hand when I play it onto my bench. Only 2 Shamings. I don't want to have 3 or 4 Shamings. There's just too big risk. As much Shamings as you can have on your bench, there's a bigger chance that your opponent can trade 2 price for 1, and you can find yourself in a trouble. So try to play with as less Shamings as you can. So that's definitely good in my opinion. 2 Zoroarks with Moonlight Madness, but you are not able to use that attack, and 2 Zoroarks with the Mind Jack and the Stand-In. Definitely good card. It can help you to stand in or rush in, like the old Keldeo EX. And also with the Mind Jack, you can limit your opponent bench, because as much Pokemon as your opponent can have in play, you can actually hit for 180 in total with the Mind Jack if your opponent have 5 Pokemons on the bench with the Muscle Band. Also 4 Combis and 4 Vespiquens, that's the main attacker in this deck with the Bitter Revenge. The 4 last cards as support and also to increase the damage are Farewell Letters Anos, which says when you play it onto your bench and when you knock it out, you can draw one card, not one prize, 1 card from top of your deck. From item cards, I'm running 4 copies of Battle Compressor. That's definitely staple in this deck. You can't play this deck without 4 copies of Battle Compressors. I'm running actually only just 4 different item cards, and that's 4 Battle Compressors, 4 Trainer's Mail, 4 Ultra Balls, and 4 V-Seekers. You don't need to have any other card in this deck, so that's pretty much all you need to do for the item cards. Some supporter cards, I'm running single AZ. I just want to get rid of my Shaman in the mid-game when I actually set up my bench, so just swipe Shaman from play, discard it with the Ultra Ball, and you're pretty much happy because you just don't want to give your opponent opportunity to draw 2 prize cards. Also, single Blacksmith, it's definitely good, but you need to be very cautious about playing Flareon against Greninja, because if you play Flareon against Greninja, there's a big trick, because your Vespiquen is also going to be a fire and you're going to have weakness on Greninja, so keep that in mind. because if Moonlight Splash hits for the 80, it's going to hit you for the 160, and without Muscle Band, your opponent will not be able to one-hit knock out your Flareon. But if you have a Flareon in play, it's going to be a very easy game for the Greninja, if, of course, Greninja can set up, but you can definitely shut it down before it's set up, because this deck is actually a lot faster than Greninja. Also, Hex Maniac is here to help you against that Greninja and Trevenant matchup. A single Lysander, one N also. Just I'm running a single N in this deck, and I think I'm running three Professor Sycamores and one Teammates. Definitely good, because when you suffer the knockout, you can search your deck for any 2 cards that you actually need. 3 Force to the Junk Plants, a single Floatstone, and a Muscle Band, so you can actually have a chance to stand in retreat with your Zoroark, and also that single Muscle Band can help you to hit for 180 with your Zoroark. 4 double Colress energies and 3 fire energies, which is actually 7 energies in total. So if you're looking for any of these cards, you can find them on CCGCastle.com as usual. So without too much talking, as we actually see this deck list, let's do some gameplay so you can actually see it in the action. So welcome to the game test, and let's try to see how good this deck actually is. Since we can hit for weakness, a lot of different Pokemon types, this is going to be very interesting because I opened with my Shaman, but at least I have my double Colress energy in hand, so I can try to Sky Return right here. On the other side, I'm playing against the Bronzor or Metal Box deck, so probably Genesect box. Toolbox, whatever you want. Basically, I have very good matchup against it because I can hit for the weakness with my Flareon, and that Flareon can help me very lot right there. And there's a N, so nothing from my Sky Return for now, but who knows what I can get with a fresh 6 new cards. Even better hand in my opinion, but I definitely need to get rid of my Shaman from the game, at least from the active spot. So I will definitely Sky Return on my next turn. I mean on my first turn, definitely. I'm going to play my Ultra Ball right here. Probably also Trainer's Mail, so maybe I can pick up Floatstone, or maybe even better Muscle Band. And there's a Shaman for my opponent. So with the Shaman, he can draw at this moment 3 extra cards if he decides to play Setup. He already discarded the double Sycamore and 2 Ultra Balls, Trainer's Mail. Oh, 3 Sycamores actually. I totally didn't notice on the first look the third one. And there's Battle Compressor. So that Battle Compressor probably is going to be for some of his metal energies, maybe for supporter like Hex or AZ. Oh, so actually he decided to discard one of his Genesect into the discard pile. That's very interesting. I mean, you can't put it back into your hand without Buddy Buddy Rescue, but maybe he plays something like Buddy Buddy Rescue as a tag, so he can actually put that Genesect into his hand. So he just decided to pass us the turn. I'm going to play my Combi right there, and I'm going to play my Trainer's Mail for another Professor Sycamore, and this is going to be another Trainer's Mail before I decide actually to go with my Ultra Ball. So Battle Compressor. I will first try to remove some supporter cards, I guess, that I don't need, or maybe some of my Pokemons. So let's see. 2 Flareons, alright. There's 3 Unknowns, 2 Zoroarks, only 2 Combis. How many Vespiquens do I have? 4 of them. So I can get rid of 1 Vespiquen. Probably one of my Hex Maniac and one of my Lysander for now, or maybe just one of my Eevee. I don't know actually what should I discard right there. I can go with the 1 Flareon. I need just the 1 Flareon in this game. Actually, I will keep my Flareon so I can have weakness, or maybe not. Let's just go with 3 Flareons and a Ultra Ball. So what I need right here, I need something like a Eevee for the bench, definitely, because I want to have my turn 2 Vespiquen with the Flareon ready on the bench. so I can start to apply some pressure. I will definitely Sky Return as I told at the game begins. So there's a setup for 6 cards. Oh, very nice. 2 Battle Compressors. So let me see. How many energies? 2 Fire energies and 1 Blacksmith is definitely what I'm going to discard right here. Another Battle Compressor is probably going to be for some Pokemons. I will actually discard some of my Unknowns right here. I really don't need them. And after that I'm going to play my Professor Sycamore. No need to keep those cards in my hand. Not even that energy. And there's a Trainer's Mail for another Battle Compressor. Okay, I will pick that. I'm looking for Stadium so I can evolve right here, but that's probably not going to happen. There's a Trainer's Mail. Oh, actually there's Forested Giant Plant. And right now I can evolve one of my Vespiquens. I can go with another Battle Compressor, so I can discard probably one Zorua and one Zoroark, since my Vespiquen is going to be a main attacker right there. And I can even go with one of my Lysanders. I don't want to play pretty much anything else right here, so I will just hit with my Sky Return for 30. And what I'm going to promote right here into the active spot is my Vespiquen. And for the next turn I can actually go with double Colress Energy onto my Vespiquen. I can search my deck with my Ultra Ball for the Flareon. I can even place that Floatstone, and I can go with my Shaman for the setup, and I can try to find V-Seeker for that Lysander, so I can maybe knock out that Shaman for 2 prizes. Right now I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokemons in my discard pile. That's 90 damage, so I need 2 more. And there's Professor Sycamore for my opponent. I actually don't feel very well playing this deck. I don't know. It's something. It's a bit, I don't know, clunky because I just don't feel good if my opponent is able to knock out my Flareon on the bench, and I'm just not able in that case to respond if that happens. And there is actually Max Elixir, and he can actually use his Bronzong for the Metal Links, and he can just retreat and knock out my Vespiquen in this case. So there's a Trainer's Mail. I mean, even if that happens, I can respond back and knock out that Genesect without problem. So there's Parallel City. Probably he's going to play that. So he can limit me down to 3 Pokemons on my bench. And I need to see. I still have 2 Stadiums in my deck, so it's not that big deal. But I'm already on 16 cards left, so that's the reason why I don't feel good with that Vespiquen decks, because you can just burn so quickly your deck. Oh, so he decided to remove one of his Shamans from play, so that's definitely very interesting. And there is Metal Link, so probably on the Genesect and another Metal Links. If he can hit that Floatstone this turn, he can just easily knock me out. But if that don't happen, oh, there's a Floatstone. So yeah, all I really need is another Vespiquen right here, and I have Floatstone, so that's definitely good. So what I really need right here is a Flareon and a Vespiquen, so I can knock out his Genesect. I'm going to attach my Floatstone. There's another Eevee, but actually I don't need another Eevee, so probably I'm going to discard one of my Eevee and one of my double Colress Energy for something like a Combi. So I can actually place down my Combi and my double Colress Energy on it. And after that I can go with my setup for 5 extra cards, and I'm hoping that I can find Forest of the Giant Plant and Vespiquen, and I was able to find both of these cards. And this is pretty much GG, I guess, for my opponent. I mean, it's not, but it's close, because he don't have any attacker right now to respond. And I have double Vespiquen, so double trouble for him, since I also have that Flareon, and he have that weakness. And that big revenge is going to bring me a weakness to 140, damage, attack, which is enough for the 2 prizes. And there's a Jolteon and a VA Seeker, very nice. Even with that VA Seeker, I can easily knock out his Shaman from the bench. But the question is, can he respond back from this huge knockout? And there's a double Bronzor. Will he be able to find another Genesect for this turn and use that Rapid Blaster? We shall see. But then again, if he's able to do that, he definitely needs to find a way to knock out my Flareon on the bench, because I can just easily respond back since I have 10 Pokemons in my discard pile. So 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And yeah, I can easily knock him out back. I don't have access to another Eevee, so if he can knock out my Flareon down to the bench, then this is going to be a very huge problem, since he had that Lysander in his discard pile. And he also played 2 V-Seekers. We shall see that. But then again, if that happened, I can just try to... Oh, so he don't have access to that. This is going to be a V-Seeker for the Lysander. Lysander over that Genesect. I'm going to attach my double colorless energy onto my Flareon just in case N happens, and this is pretty much GG, because I can just be revenge that Genesect, take my 2 prizes and leave my opponent without attacker, since he already discarded one of his Genesect. There is no way that he can actually bring back into this game. So let's move to another game. So I will play one more game so you can actually see a little bit more of this deck in action. Alright, so welcome to the game number 2. And this is definitely going to be a final game for this deck in my game test. So I'm starting first, but without success actually. I'm playing against some kind of the water and against the water metal deck. So probably Greninja Break with the Jirachi as a tech. And to be honest, in this situation, you need to be very, very cautious about playing your Vespiquen with the Flareon. So this is because you never know what your opponent can do, because if you play that Flareon, you're also fire type, and you can definitely suffer very huge consequences in this situation. I decided to pick right here Kambi instead of the Shaman, because I want to try to limit as much as I can actually my chance to... I will actually keep one of my Flareons for later. I might will need it for something like... I might will need it for something like... I just want to say... you never know, for the blacksmith. But yeah, you definitely need to be very cautious, so I'm not going to play it in the early game. And there is Forest of the Giant Plant, which is actually very good. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to play my Ultra Ball for one of my Fire Energies and for one of my Professor Sycamore, since I already played that N. And right now I will pick that Shaman. But before I decide to go with my Shaman in this situation, I will play both of my Trainer's Mails. AZ is definitely a very good card, so I can remove my Shaman from play on my other turn. And another Trainer's Mail maybe can give me pretty much nothing that I really need. So Shaman for 5 more cards. I'm looking for maybe Floatstone. No sign of the Floatstone, but there's another Zorua. And this is going to be a Vespiquen Evolved. And for now, I'm pretty happy. I will just pass my turn. I guess I can even start to apply some pressure onto my opponent Froakie on my next turn. But then again, I need to be very cautious. As I mentioned it earlier, on the other side, it's a Jirachi. And that Jirachi can actually do a lot of problems to you because you're running double colorless energies. And you definitely need to be very smart when you play against it. You can just easily knock out your opponent Frogadier. Not a big deal, I guess. Oh, there's a Judge. So thanks to my opponent, I'm going to get 4 new cards. Maybe I can find Zoroark. Oh, this hand is actually a bit better. And a bubble, so he was not able to evolve. So no volley for my opponent. And this is going to bring me... Oh, god damn. Totally forget about that Silent Lab. And this is going to give me some extra cards. Unknown for the V-Seeker. Let's first discard some other resources like Hexmaniac and a Teammates. Oh, actually I'm going to discard my Lysander in this situation. Alright, another Unknown can give me maybe maybe Flowstone. I like that. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to knock out my opponent Jirachi, just because I don't feel very comfortable right here looking at that Jirachi because I'm running double Colress energies. So this is going to be a beer revenge for the knockout. As I speak about it earlier, Greninja is not a big deal right here. Why? For two reasons. It's weak on the grass, and as long as I can one-hit knockout Greninja, I'm pretty happy. So this is definitely what I'm going to do. But for the next turn, I also have, so this is going to be another judge. I also have my Hex Maniac, and I have, how many V-Seekers? I have 3 more V-Seekers, so I can just go with the one-hit knockout over my opponent Greninja, and I can shut it down with my V-Seeker for the Hex Maniac, so that's the reason why I just first decide to get rid of that Jirachi, so my opponent is not able to set up. Alright. So there's another Ano, and I definitely need to find as soon as possible another combi so I can attack with it. Another V-Seeker, but that's not the card that I'm actually looking for. I'm going to play right here a Hex Maniac just because I never know what can happen next turn. So definitely I will shut down my opponent right here, and I will play my Beer Revenge for the knockout. So as long as I can one-hit knock out my opponent, I'm pretty happy with that. And there is a Zoroark, very nice. So I have 2 different attackers for my next turn. I can even just stand in with my Zoroark and I can just try to knock out my opponent. Greninja, if he decides to evolve, because I also have that V-Seeker in my hand, but maybe he just decides to bubbles me right here and actually paralyze me. So who knows, maybe even that happens. But we shall see. It's still a long run to play. I have V-Seeker ready in my hand, so I can even try to... Oh, there's a Lysander. Not a big deal, I guess, since I have my Zoroark in my hand. So I have perfect hand. I really like the coin that my opponent play, Totodile. And there is actually double Zoroark just hits the ground. So right now I can pick between what kind of Zoroark I want to play. Alright, so let me see. I have 2 choices. I have V-Seeker in my hand, so I can maybe even try to go again right here with the Hex Maniac. But I will actually decide to... How many DC? I don't have a 0 double color synergies in my discard pile, so I can hit with the Mind Jack actually, and I can keep my V-Seeker in my hand. So probably Greninja break is not going to happen this turn, so I will actually keep my V-Seeker for the next turn. For that Greninja break, maybe it happens. And right now my opponent don't have too many options. All he can really do right here is promote one of his Frogadiers and maybe try to V-Seeker for Judge me again, or something like that. We shall see. And I'm in very good position. I also have my V-Seeker, as I spoke before, for that Hex Maniac, but I also have cards like Teammates in my discard pile. Even if the knockout happens, I can just respond back. Then again, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to play my Lysander. So this is going to be a Lysander on the Frogadier with the energy card. And I will attach one of my fire energies to another Zoroark, so I can have 2 Zoroarks in play. Or I can maybe even try to find, yeah, definitely 2 Zoroark. And I'm going to hit with the Mind Jack, which is actually 80 plus 70 plus 20, which is enough for the knockout. So one more prize taken for me. There's a combi, and for the next turn I can place down on the bench combi. I can just easily retreat my Zoroark with another stand-in, retreat to the Vespiquen, which actually have double damage because that Frogadier and the Greninja is weak onto the grass, and that's in my opinion pretty much GG. There's a die ball, so he was able to find one of his Greninjas with the Shadow Snitching. He might go with the Shadow Snitching in this situation. There's energy retrieval, so he can place 2 energies from his discard pile back into his hand. And I guess that the best option for him would be to go with the Shadow Stitching, not with the Moonlight Splash, but he decided to knock me out with the Moonlight Splash, and that's definitely not something what you would like to do, because your opponent can just easily promote his Vespiquen, and he can actually even go with what I will actually do right here. I will just go with my Professor Sycamore for the 7 new cards, and I might be able to find a few more Vespiquens. So there is a first Vespiquen, and actually I don't have another Vespiquen in my deck. I'm 100% positive that I don't have it, but I will definitely play my Ultra Ball right there so I can thin out a little bit more of resources from my hand. What I can find right there, there's a Shaming EX, so I'm going to play also in this situation one of my Battle Compressors, so I can thin a little bit more of cards like AZ and another Forest of the Giant Plant because I don't need them, and another energy card, so I have Blacksmith. And I will actually even place down that Flareon, which can help me a lot in this situation. And I don't need to play the double Colorless Energy, but I will just hit with the Be Revenge for the knockout. That's around 260. And I'm going to take my almost last prize, so there's a Trainer's Mail, and all I really need is to one-hit knockout my opponent Frogadier on the next turn. If he can find another Greninja, he can Shadow Stitch me, but in that case, all I really need to do is promote my another Vespiquen and hit for the knockout. But maybe he can end me down to the 1 card, and there can be a problem. But actually, the last 8 cards that I have, including those 2 in my hand, are pretty good cards. So yeah, just a Moonlight Splash, and this is pretty much a GG. Oh, I actually even top deck another double Colorless Energy. So yeah, 2 games, 2 wins, and I'm pretty happy with the deck. It works definitely good. It's very very nice to play with this deck, but actually I'm not a big fan of the Vespiquen, just because you need to play very smart and very cautious, and you need to always looking at your discard pile and your resources, because you can just find yourself into trouble if you make a wrong move. And in my opinion, against this Greninja, I think that the best decision was to go turn 1 for the Lysander and the knockout over that Jirachi, because if that Stardust just happened and he was able to evolve even one of his Greninjas, probably that's going to be a GG for me, because those Greninja breaks later would just shut down all of my Pokemon from my bench. So once again, there's the full deck list. I hope you guys enjoy watching it. You can definitely use it, share it, play with it, do whatever you want. Any criticism and comments are welcome. So if you think you can improve this deck list, you can definitely send me a comment or private message on YouTube or Facebook, whatever you want, and I can definitely try to see what I can do with it. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more future videos. See you in the next video tomorrow. So till that, have a nice day, and goodbye.